Hey everybody, guess what time it is? That's right, it's Urban EDC Loaner Knife Quick Look Video time. Yay! Yay! Yay!
Suck and chill!
Yay! Now Urban Everyday Carry and Justin Lundquist, you know what? And me on the talent side, the important one, have teamed up for a tiny take on a Barlow with the lightweight modern Baby Barlow. Short review, short knife. What isn't there to like?
The talent!
The Baby Barlow is an updated take on the Great Eastern Cutlery 25 pattern. Now, as you know, Great Eastern Cutlery, pattern mines, classic catalogs, and advertisements for their coveted pocket knives. It makes them in such limited runs that you complain on the internet you can't buy them, but somehow still have like 30 of them. Anyway, though, how small is the Baby Barlow? Glad you asked. It's the dimensions time. Now, the joke is making this one card didn't make the reviews any shorter. It's just, my editing time is down by a few minutes. But the knife is tiny and comparable to the, Little Rattler or the Serge Bean in size. And we'll see that in a little bit here. Hour 2 of the review. Up front is your Wharncliffe blade. Coin toss says we either expect an M390 or an S35 VN on this knife. And today, we're going with the M390. That doesn't mean there's two options. It's only M390, but hopefully some people know what I mean. Now, M390, as you know, is a common snob steel known for its corrosion and stain resistance, its edge retention, and being in price points over $100. There are newer steels that do better, and many older steels that do way worse. One day, Magna Cut will be the standard if the knife review and steel porn industrial complexes have their way. But for now, we dream and buy our mules in Magna Cut. Yeah, the knife community really gets into their steels, their testing, their arguments, their science. Few of us ever put those steels to use, but we all brag and talk about them like we do. The paradox is, you put the high-end steels in the prettiest knives with the highest retail and resale values. I'd like to say that I love the 20 CV in my deadlocks about the same as a gross patina on my 85 pattern, from Great Eastern Cutlery. I sharpen my knives when they get dull. I don't have any real good steel observations. Sometimes they all kind of run together. Most of the hardest working blades in the world use cheap steel, and the least hard-working blades use the expensive kind. Knife companies pay more for the high-end stuff from the steel cartels. That's just, that's why the prices are higher. I guess what I'm saying is whatever steel makes you happy. And I know there's one guy out there that likes to point out M390 does not make him happy, and he has been posting it for years under these videos. But I at the same time see the purpose in high-end steels and see no purpose in it from a collecting standpoint. Does that make any sense? Now, if I confuse at least one person about steel, I'll have done my job. The blade looks good, though, and the proportions of the Wharncliffe are about perfect. The action. Now, this little guy is a front flipping style knife without much of a front flipper, a jimping flipper. I'm a sick simp for a jimp flip. We're having a good time, right? Ooh. Right there at the top is a little bump. You catch it with your index finger just right and click past it and it deploys smoothly on the ball-bearing pivot system. It does take a bit of practice to get the muscle memory right. It's almost like, I feel like snapping your fingers. You have to touch it at the right point and you got to touch it with the right amount of pressure. And the pocket clip provides some grip for your fingers to keep the tiny guy from flying out of your hands while you're practicing or, doing some cool tricks with it. Now, some front flippers with big tabs have little to no learning curves. Other ones are really hard to deploy. And some like this one that rethink it, or, like a medium learning curve to get used to the action. My sample here is a prototype, though, that's been passed around. Normally, I do a thumb deployment on a front flipper style. That's just the easiest way for my hand size. But the pointer finger here works best on the Baby Barlow. Here you see a few other front flippers for you. The mini Tempest, which I paid about $370 for, plus another $29 for the overdraft fee because I took it out of the wrong account. It's the first overdraft in like 10 years. It makes sense that it's on a knife, right? And Levon sent me the Arkona Nettle here. Just as, smooth as shit on this one, almost a drop shut. It's a pretty good knife. I'm going to be doing a video about this in the future. Now, the Baby Barlow locks up with a liner lock. It is tucked and nested inside there. Oh, okay, it's actually not a liner lock because there are no liners. Mr. Lundquist corrected me when I called it such on the Instagram. Now I know what it's called. I can go correct everyone else. It's called a front flipper inset lock, idiots, okay? Now, it looks like a liner lock. I say that in the academic definition, and Urban EDC has liner lock on their website. And it appears like that from the outside. But it's really a thin strip of titanium that has some screws attached through the slab of G10 hidden under the pocket clip. And occasionally when disengaging, you get a little pinch between the liner and the scale, letting you know you're kind of cute. Now on this knife, there are all titanium versions, but I chose the G10 variant because I like the colorways, you know, green and orange. I feel like it's Nickelodeon colors. It's a tiny knife, so don't look for much grip area here. No hot spots seen, or rather felt. And I wouldn't describe this as a hard user, but everything is tumbled and chamfered everywhere. It's a well put together knife. Very rare that I've been described as well put together. Pocket clip, non-flippable, tip up, blade backward in the right pocket. It's a deep carry down in the pocket, or these are called the fifth pocket. Not everybody has a fifth pocket on their jeans or their corduroys, but it's small enough to go inside the coin pocket if you so choose. Comparisons. First, the Baby Barlow, one of the tiniest front flippers. I don't have any other FFs, or you can't call it, that's fair and forged. The BBFF is a very cool looking knife. The pattern boiled down to its essence and reworked. And how about the Serge Bean? Just did a video on this. I know you didn't see it. I mean, you could go watch it right after this one. In fact, I'll link it here at the end. This is also a nice little fifth pocket knife. Like a fifth pocket knife. Oh, you mean my fifth pocket knife that I carry on my person? No, the fifth pocket knife. A lightweight work carrier when you're just at the gala, the ball, Love the unique little design here. You know this by now, viewer. The Little Rattler, the Great Eastern Cutlery 19, as they are these days. These were available scattered through retailers for 10 to 30 seconds of listing sometime last year, was it? And I competed just like everyone else and found one. It could have been the year before. I don't know. The years have run together the past 4 years. A good-looking little knife, fifth pocket knife, very thin. How about a tiny little switchblade, the UTX-80? So lightweight and thin. And also expensive. Love this little guy. Love all these little guys here. Little tiny knives. Little lightweight tiny knives. All right, wrap it up, dude. Now, not everyone is into tiny knives. Some people like the big ones. Some people aren't into knives at all, but just like hearing a guy talk about them. Kind of winging it. If you're a tiny knife person, the Baby Barlow is a pretty cool tiny knife. A modern interpretation of a traditional, and it will keep the boutique knife people happy by having the titanium and the M390 if you so choose. Now, these are available for pre-order only at Urban Everyday Carry Supply, who loaned me this prototype for review. Now note that observations of a prototype may not be observations of the finished production model. Okay, you get that right. Now, while they had been closed, they are briefly reopening pre-orders for a day or two, because it took me a little longer to finish this video than it should have. Mediocrity takes time, as you know, guys. You've been fans of the channel for a while. Ordering through my links below is entirely optional, but helps support the channel, whatever it is you decide to buy. Maybe you're a little more cultured, you hate the Barlow, but consider yourself a $589 titanium yo-yo person. Yes, I'm also learning about these a few seconds before typing and recording this. So follow me on the Instagram. Click that alert bell. Say hi to my pals, the patrons. They're helping me pay off the camera and the computer that I shot all this on. I didn't shoot it on the computer. I shot it on the camera and I edited it on the computer. So thanks to them. Anyway, please click the alert bell because it'll alert you when you can only click it on me. You don't have to click it on all the other channels that you hate. You can just click it on this one that you hate so you can hate watch this video. Anyway, comment. Thanks for watching.